Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Naked Eye. I'm your host, Brian Correa, and joined with me today is a very unique guest. He is a blind gymnast. That's right, blind gymnast, Michael Mancini. Mike, man, how are you?
I'm not bad. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm really looking forward to this podcast. And I got to start out with this question because um, as soon as I stumbled across you, I was thinking this, and people listening to this might think this. How is being a blind gymnast possible? Like, how did you work that out? Please tell me more.
Okay, so let's start it from the very beginning here, real quick. I am one of the very few people in this world who are considered a keratoconic patient. So a little bit of an explanation of the disease before I confuse everybody too quickly here. Keratoconus is a disease where my cornea is trying to push through the lens of my eye, which will then turn the eye shape into a cone. If you know anything about optics or anything like that from your grade 9, 10 science classes, you know that as a cone shape gets smaller, it's harder to see out of. So my eye is constantly trying to turn into a cone. That's like the best way I can describe it, and like the most basic terms of it. I'm also considered one of the youngest cases of this disease. Typically, it doesn't start until you're around like 19 to 24-ish, and I was diagnosed when I was 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So is this something, so it happened when you were 9 years old. So it's developed throughout your life.
Yes.
If you feel comfortable talking about this, what is like your vision like?
So I don't know if you do visuals on this podcast or you pop things up onto the screen, but I can send you a picture of a really good visual of it. The best way I can describe it is, you know, when you accidentally take your phone out of your pocket and you have Snapchat open or you have your camera open, and you take a picture and you look at it, you're like, what was I like moving my hand? Just like, it's just all that blur.
Yeah.
So that's what my left eye is. So the disease mainly affects my left eye. It affects my right eye a little bit, but not nearly as much as my left. For those who wear glasses, I have a negative 9.25 prescription in glasses, but in terms of like 20/20 perfect vision type thing, I have 20/400 in my left eye.
Holy smokes. That's a number I've never even heard of. Holy
Yeah, exactly.
shit. Wow.
So the best, like, another way to describe that is 20/20 means at 20 feet, you can see something that is 20 feet away properly, perfectly. I have at 20 feet, it looks like as blurry as it would be if I was standing up from something that's 400 feet away.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I know I have a prescription, and I think my left eye is like the worst eye, and it's 20/30. So just to put that into perspective, like holy shit, 2400. Yeah. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, yeah. Wow, damn, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Has that like has your vision like deteriorated as you've gotten older? Has it gotten better?
No, it's a degenerative disease, so it's only gotten worse. When I was 9 years old, it was like 20/90, 2100 maybe. The legally blind scale is 2200. So at that moment, you are considered legally blind. I am now double that. And that I was 2400 when I was 15, and I have, thanks to the contact lenses that I use and the doctors that I've been working with, it has stayed 2400. Since I was 15 years old. I'm now closing in on 22.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah, that's encouraging to hear, because obviously if you're at 2400 of 15, you can only imagine, you know, how worse that could have gotten. So, I mean, shout out to your doctors and everyone's looking after you.
Yeah, of course.
Like how does that make you feel that your vision has gotten like worse?
So I never knew a life without it, really. I don't, like, looking back when I was 6 to like 8 years old, I wouldn't remember what my vision looked like. And I didn't know that my vision was bad until, you know, that spoon thing that they put in front of your eyes and be like, okay, can you see my finger? Or like, can you see this? Like, what? Yeah. So they did that, and my left eye just couldn't see it, like the board at all in front of me. Yeah. I was like, yeah, there's no letters on that. That's just a light.
Damn, man, that's intense.
Yeah.
And that was the realization, right? You're like, oh wow, the spoon just kind of did it for you.
Yeah, exactly. And then when they're covering the right eye, they're like, yeah, you have 20/20 vision in your right eye. There's a concern in your left eye, so they're looking into it, and they're like, I doubt that this is the case, but like, it looks like the starting of a disease called keratoconus. And then we kind of just like, okay, and then we we walked out.
Oh man, that's intense.
Yeah,
Wow. Do you have it in your right eye as well?
yeah, it affects both eyes, but like my right eye is 20/40, my left eye is 2400. That's
Okay. Yeah,
that's the difference.
quite the difference.
Yeah.
Um, so then what encouraged you to become a gym like to do gymnastics? Because you hear that, like you have 2400 vision, that then you and then you put blind and gymnast together. It's like I don't think those two really, at least at face value, mesh really well.
They don't make sense. They don't make sense at all.
Yeah. So what encouraged you to do that?
So I started gymnastics when I was a year and a half.
Oh.
Because my mom is a gymnastics coach, so she already worked in the facility. It was very easy for me to just jump into a class as like a daycare thing while she was coaching hers. Um, so it was very like easy for me to do that until I was around 6 years old. And when I turned 6, they noticed that I had some like potential to be a competitive level athlete, and that's when they started putting me into more trampoline specific classes. So yeah, I do trampoline and double mini. Those are my specialties. Um, but when I was 6, that's when I started going into like the more higher end trampoline classes. And then when I turned 9, that's when I started competing for the first time. So around the same time I went blind is the same time that I started competing.
Oh wow. That's
Yeah.
actually whoa.
Yeah.
Did you receiving your diagnosis kind of discourage you from pursuing gymnastics? So what was the mindset once you received that news?
So at the time when I was 9 years old, I had like, they're like, you might have this disease, you might not. Who knows? We can't tell. It
Mm.
doesn't, because it doesn't affect people who are 9 years old. That's not a thing that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
So we, in the way that the doctor was talking about it, we were kind of just like, whatever, it's fine. We'll just move on.
You might become legally blind, but it's
Yeah,
it's all good,
it took until I was 11 for we got not a what's the best way to put it, like a substitute eye doctor. I don't know, it was a different guy that we normally have because the guy
Okay.
that we had normally was sick. So he came in and he was looking at my eyes like, yeah, you have keratoconus. And I was sitting there in the chair like, I know, like, and this guy's like, no, this is like a medical phenomenon thing, like this doesn't happen. And we're like, I was with my cousin there, like my older cousin was sitting there with me. It wasn't my mom or my dad this time. So he wrote it down. He's like, yeah, he has this. And my mom was also like, yeah, okay. And the doctor said, Michael, don't look it up, but tell your parents to look it up and like go in and research it. If you look up pictures for keratoconus, they are not the most pleasing pictures because it's the cases that have gone all the way. The cone shape of their eye has completely formed. So the eye doctor told me, yeah, don't look it up, but get your parents to look it up, and we're going to recommend you to go to a pediatric surgeon. We can get into that story in a little bit because that was the wrong move, but
Oh.
yeah, but we were recommended to a pediatric surgeon to have a better look into it. So I was going to eye appointments like 2-3 times a year until I was 15 because I'd go between our usual guy and the pediatric surgeon.
Looking back, do you kind of have a little bit of beef with your first doctor who was so nonchalant about it? Because it sounds like from what you're saying, the substitute guy was like, this is a problem, like you need to actually like think about this and how to like get better.
No, I don't. I have no beef with the first guy at all. He was acting like this might be a problem in the next few years. It's not a problem now.
Okay.
But they didn't realize how quickly it was going to develop afterwards. So when the new guy came in and he looked at it, it's like with no prior knowledge of me at all. That's when he was like, hold on a second. Like, this is an issue. Because he looked at, after that, he looked into the chart and realized like my vision was bad back then, but it was at like 2150. I was closing in on legally blind at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
How, like, could you even process that at that age, or you just keep trucking on?
No, again, at 11 years old, you don't really care.
Yeah.
My biggest worry was that I would have to wear glasses. Like he was
Wow.
like, yeah, you might need glasses. And I was like, I don't want to wear glasses. That's just not a thing I want to do.
No, fast forward to now. Damn.
Oh, I lost my headphones. Hold on 1 second. All right,
I mean,
go ahead.
yeah, damn, man. I mean, I couldn't even like process that because I mean, you're a kid, right? So if someone's telling you like there's a possibility you might go blind, it's like if like for me that'd be like an existential crisis. I'd be like I'd lose like the ability to see. It's like something I guess you've kind of like as someone who has decent vision and like it's kind of something you take for granted.
Yeah. Oh,
So oh yeah. So the thought of like the thought of a child having to hear the thing that they might go blind is just that's just insane.
yeah.
But I mean, like I think that the thing that's awesome. I think so far in this conversation is that it seems like this is something you kind of look back on. And it's like it's not something that traumatizes you at all. It looks like it's something that kind of made you the person you are almost. Is that fair to say?
Exactly. I have no regret, like I guess not regrets, but I have no regrets with having this disease. I have like there's no like anger towards like having this develop on me or like anything like that, where I know some people who would have a disease like this, especially later in their life, I would understand like why did this have to happen to me, and then they have to learn and adjust. But the great thing about a lot of us people with keratoconus, we are some of the best equipped for these types of situations for whatever reason. People like probably the most popular name that I'm going to mention that has keratoconus is Nick Cage. Nicolas Cage
Oh
has.
wow.
Yeah, if you look at him from the if you look at him, you could see how pointy his eyes are. He has the disease.
Fun fact. I did not know that.
Yeah, exactly. It's because keratoconus is not a thing that you hear. It's not.
Yeah.
That's not a thing. It affects 0.0005% of the population, which is the same number of people who do a somersault after the age of 16. Which is funny because I'm in two separate demographics that are very small.
That's a flex and a half. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Could you talk to me because you did mention this a minute or two ago about the pediatrics thing and how that was the wrong decision?
Okay.
Take me through that.
So if there's anybody to have beef against, it is this guy. So I'm not going to go into names. I'm not going to disclose this guy, but we go into the children's hospital that's right by us to meet with this guy, and he talks to us, and he's looking into our eyes, and he's like, yeah, like he has keratoconus. This is like this is a very rare case of it, obviously, because you're a child. Like, he's writing all this stuff down, and he's like, yeah, you might need a surgery on it. It's called the corneal crosslink, which means they like cut into your eye and they link your left and right eye, your dominant eye and your weak eye, together, so that you see pretty much the exact same out of your right eye, but they're always like connected. So if you wanted to go cross-eyed, you couldn't do that. They stay together. They stay moving together. And it helps you, it'll give you your vision back. But the scary thing about it is it's a 50-50 shot if it'll work.
That's scary.
It's a coin flip of either you're going to be able to see perfectly fine or you're going to be completely blind.
Whoa.
Because they haven't perfected it yet, because keratoconus is still such an very unknown disease. It's something that you don't hear about. So that's the first time where it hit me like, okay, this is serious. This is a problem.
Shit just got real.
Yeah. My 11-year-old self was not ready to hear about that.
How did your parents feel about that?
My parents at the time weren't like, they at that point, that's also when like my parents got it. They're like, okay, this is a problem. But they didn't realize how badly it was actually affecting me outside of just having this disease. So with my schooling, for example, I struggled a lot with reading because my brain was trying to figure out what the word said, not what the word meant. So I'd read something and be just like, okay, that was the sentence. I didn't absorb any of it because all I cared about was figuring out that B was a B because I couldn't see it properly.
Wow.
So it affected my schooling quite a bit, but it took them a while before they realized that it was really affecting that. So that was probably like the biggest problem with it. But like once they realized that, of course, like it was a understood thing that you're going to go like, this is something he's going to go through until he's able to see properly, or like, there's no way he's going to be able to see properly. Protect the good eye was the famous words of this doctor. Protect the good eye, protect the good eye. That was it.
Jeez.
Like he suggested I wore goggles while I did trampoline.
But that didn't go over well.
I didn't wear the goggles. I never wore them. We didn't buy them. Because his thing was, if something randomly gets into your eye and scratches your cornea, you're done now. You can't see at all.
Mm.
So he made me go get glasses with like, instead of glass lenses, they like plastic lenses. Like these are blue light glasses, for example, like these ones. So that if something hit off the glasses wouldn't break. They'd scratch, but they wouldn't break, so they wouldn't break into my eye or anything like that. So moving along with this guy, we go to see him once or twice a year until I'm around 15 years old. And then we had a back-to-back appointment. So we went to the pediatric surgeon, and then we went to our regular eye doctor. Back to back. It was a week apart. And we got the call from from the eye doctor. My mom was like, "Does he really need to show up for this one as well?" And he's like, "Might as well. Like I haven't seen him in a year. Might as well. Like this is stuff that we've been going through like every year. We went to the eye doctor all the time. You might as well just for your yearly checkup. It doesn't cost you anything. It's not a big deal." So we went in, we got it checked, and while he was writing stuff down about my eye and how much it's developed and degressed, because we haven't been doing anything for it, we'll get into probably my favorite thing once we get into the current doctor that I have. He was like, "Hey, have you ever considered correcting the bad eye?" We weren't told that was an option.
Yeah. Wow.
We've been going to this pediatric surgeon, this guy who's supposed to know what's going on, for 4 years now. No idea that an option to correct it was there.
That's nuts.
Yeah, he just said, "Protect the good eye, and we'll do a surgery when the time's right." That was it.
How did it feel to hear like all these differing views and differing like solutions from different people? Because I couldn't even process that. My anxiety. Oh my goodness.
It was a very stressful time. It was like, I was wearing just like these glasses that all they did was give me a headache because it was the wrong prescription for my right eye and no prescription in my left eye. It wasn't doing anything for me. I might as well popped out the lens in the left eye.
Wow.
So I was wearing these glasses to try and like protect my good eye and to be able to see a little better out of my right eye, because my right eye wasn't bad, but like it could be better. So hearing that there was a way to actually be able to see properly out of my left eye again, have proper depth perception, like that was like mind blowing. So the guy suggested going to this place called Sanger. He is a eye contact specialist. So instead of you can get glasses there. He's a regular clinic, but he specializes in fitting contact lenses to people.
Okay.
So he suggested, yeah, you could go with a contact lens to help hold the eye into a better place from this guy, Sanger. So going back to my mom being a gymnastics coach, she actually coaches the man's daughter.
Okay.
And has been for the past 4 years.
And
we didn't know that it was an option to get our eyes corrected from the guy that is the daughter of one of the girls that my mom coaches.
Wow.
So my mom calls this girl's mom in to be like, "Hey, so we were recommended to you guys because my son has keratoconus, and we wanted to see if there's an option to correct his bad eye." She responded with the weirdest thing, which was, "Your son has conus," which is like, shortening it probably means that you know what you're talking about a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And my mom's like, "Yeah, he does." And she's like, "Oh yeah, Sanger Eye Clinic specializes in it. We were one of the first people to discover that the disease was a thing."
What? How did it feel once this revelation kind of unfolded?
So when I heard that, I was like, okay, so like, is there something that they could do to make me better? My mom was like, "I have no idea. I don't know yet." The next day, Sanger himself walks into the building, beat red in the face. So upset, so angry. Walks up to my mom. Are you fucking kidding me? You went to this guy and he has been putting diluting drops. You know those drops that make your pupils really big?
Okay.
That when you go to the eye doctor and you can't see very well, it's to get a better look in your eye.
Okay.
So those drops are poisonous to keratoconic patients and make their eyes worse. And he's been putting them in my eyes every 6 months for 4 years.
Oh no. Oh no.
He beat red to the face. He's like, there are 3 things that you're gonna do. Number 1 is you're gonna stop fucking going to that guy.
Yeah.
Number 2 is you're gonna come see me this Wednesday. You have an appointment booked. I don't care. I'm kicking everybody around for that one. Like, you're getting pushed in. Number 3, he is not going fucking blind under my watch.
Well,
those were his exact words in a gymnastics facility. And the front.
that context is needed.
Yeah. Right in the front foyer as people are letting in their classes.
Which I couldn't imagine, like being like a child going in, getting ready for gymnastics, and dudes just yelling, "He's not going fucking blind, goddammit." I just wanted to do some tricks and do some jumps.
Yeah, exactly. Mom, why is that mean man yelling right now?
Jesus. I mean, what did it feel like to hear that, man? Like that,
So,
I understand why you have a beef. That's a legitimate beef.
Right. So when I heard about this news, I was furious. And when I walked into the eye clinic for the first time, he was mid writing a letter to get this guy's doctorate pulled.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think that ever happened. I think he's still practicing, but I think he got a big slap on the wrist for what happened. Because my theory, and this is a pretty negative theory, and a lot of people disagree with what I'm saying, but this is my theory, and me being in first person, this is how I feel. My thoughts were, because he's a pediatric surgeon, this was his chance to be able to do a surgery on a rare case of keratoconus, being the first pediatric surgeon to do that, so that he could write a paper on it and get all the accolades. So
yeah,
that's my
thoughts.
That's my thoughts. But at the same time, the other thing that it could be is that he didn't know what he was doing. That's another, because he's in pediatrics, keratoconus isn't a thing that happens in children. So, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you know what? That theory does hold a little bit of grounds. I can understand, from that guy's point of view, if he was successful, that's quite the story. But Jesus Christ, man, he's been. I mean, yeah, you should definitely get his doctorate pulled. The guy was poisoning you. That's so fucked.
Whether it was knowing or unknowing, that's the scary part.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't know, okay, fine, that's a procedure that you're supposed to do on all patients to get a better look in their eye. But if he did know, he was making my eye intentionally worse.
That's some evil shit.
Right.
I hope to God, if there is one, I hope that wasn't intentional. Because that's some dark shit.
Me too. That's what I hope, but I have this thought in the back of my mind that it's was he doing it purposely?
Yeah, your subconscious just fucking with you.
He's a very smart man. He's the top in his field for pediatric surgeries, right? He's one of the top in the field in Canada. So, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I feel like he knew.
Damn. Okay, let's move on. That's a little dark.
So that day I got fitted for contact lenses. They put in these hybrid lenses, which is a hard contact in the middle with the regular soft lenses on the outside, so you're able to easily put it in and take it out, no problem, no questions. And that was the first time since I was 8 or 9 years old that I was able to see almost perfect vision out of both of my eyes.
Oh wow, wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Haven't looked back, eh?
Oh yeah, I know.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So could you walk me through the timeline? So I know throughout this whole time with your vision and that fucked up theory of what was going on.
Yeah.
How did that impact your life? Your schooling, you kind of talked about that. Yeah. I noticed you're a Twitch streamer, so you game. I'm not sure if that affected your hobbies and stuff. Could you tell me what that whole timeline was like and how it affected your life?
So I went to, including the first 2 appointments that I talked about, and then the third one where I got the lenses fitted, I had 11 eye appointments from like early March, and then like every week after that, I had 11 eye appointments to just make sure that my contacts were fitting properly, that I was able to put them in, take them out properly. The one was the wrong size and it was squeezing my eye, so they had to go get me fitted for a different one. One time the prescription was off, so it was making me like dizzy because it was the wrong prescription being pressed up against my eye. All of the trial and error to make sure that I was getting the right vision. But the first time that I stepped foot into my gymnastics club after being able to not being able to see all this time and then being able to see again, I was squinting in there because of how bright it was. It's not bright in that gym at all. They have 50% of the lights on. It wasn't bright, but I wasn't used to how bright it was because my left eye was so dull and blurry. So I wasn't used to the lights. So I walked in, I was like, man, it's bright in here. And my mom's like, my mom's like, nothing's changed other than me putting in these lenses.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's something you got used to, or was it like every time that's like, oh God, it's blinding?
So as the days pressed on, like I'm at the gymnastics club 6 days a week at around that time. So I got used to it pretty quick. I got back to, oh yeah, it's the same gym. I just wasn't used to it out of my left eye. Yeah, and then a few years later, my contacts being the way they were perfect. I was seeing quite well. I had an easier time with learning skills because I was actually able to like go into one of my flips and then look at the ground and be like, okay, that's where I'm supposed to land, instead of just going up blindly, coming back down, which I did until I was 15. So yeah, everything was going pretty decent there. And then I had another issue pop up with my eyes. It's called blepharitis. This one is not rare at all. This one happens all the time. And this is a PSA, guys. Wash your eyelids. It's as weird as it sounds, wash your eyelids. So because of the disease, because of me wearing my contacts, I didn't want to like scrub, like when I was in the shower, I'd like wash my face, but I wouldn't touch my eyes because I didn't want to rub the contact around and move them and like disrupt my eye at all. So what it ended up happening is just like, the best way to put it is eyelash dandruff is the great way to put it. So it's like dead skin and stuff builds up on your eyelash, and then it'll clog the pores around them, which will make them swell, make them like irritated, whatever, itchy. But what it also does is blocks off your tear duct sometimes if it swells if it swells in the wrong spot. So you've got 2 places on your tear ducts where tears come out of, and it was blocking one of them. So what ended up happening is I scratched my the lens of my eye with the contact lens because not enough tear was being produced in my eyes because of blepharitis. So once I cleaned up the blepharitis, we thought I was good, but then we realized that the contacts weren't going to work anymore. So we moved on to a different brand. They're called sclerals, which they are a hard contact lens that vaults over your eye, so it doesn't actually make contact. So you have to put a saline solution inside of it and then put it into your eye, and then it'll stick to your eye properly, and it'll never actually touch your eye.
Ugh.
But your eye stays hydrated for so long. When I first got them, like I didn't need to blink when I first got them because it was pretty much just having a permanent liquid pressed up against your eye.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, but they're the most comfortable lenses that you can get.
Like, just for context, for anyone listening, I'm that guy who, whenever like there's like a scene where someone gets stabbed in the eye in like a movie or any like eye damage, I just like cover my eyes. I can't do it. Hearing you just explain that, I'm just holding my, oh God, jeez.
You're getting that feeling like right in your nose here. Like,
yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
bro, you got to get used to, I got to get used to that kind of stuff, or I had to
Yeah.
very quick, because like this is going to be a forever thing. Like I'm going to have to go through this forever. The great thing about these lenses too is they last, like, if you take terrible care of them, they last 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So if you take moderately good care of them, they can last way longer than 5 years. So I'm at 7 years with my left lens, and then the right lens needed to be refitted. So I'm at like my first year with the right lens.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, that's still not the. Oh, not ideal. I'm respect to you for going through that, because that does not sound like an easy thing for anyone to go through, let alone a teenager. So I mean, like,
No.
respect to you for going through that, and I understand how, like, since that's kind of your life, it's something you're clearly used to. I'm just privileged, so I never had to experience that and go through that.
Yeah.
One thing you said that I thought was kind of interesting, and we just kind of glossed over it, was you said prior to you getting like the proper like lens, when you do gymnastics, you just jump and hope for the best, basically. Like,
the way that I describe it to other gymnasts to stress them out is I said I did a skill and then looked for the white blob below me. If it wasn't white below me, then I didn't know where I was.
That's terrifying. Jeez. I'm guessing like you must have had your fair share of injuries then, if you don't know where the fuck you're landing.
I think no. So I've been blessed enough this far in my career to have no major injuries so far. I've been doing competitive trampoline for going on to 12, 13 years now. And I've been blessed enough to not have any major injuries. The worst injuries that I've had were I sprained both my ankles at the same time.
Oh.
I landed in between. So on double mini, I don't know how much you know about gymnastics, but double mini is similar to women's and men's gymnastics when they're doing the vault, when they run down that big runway, hit the board, and then go over that table. Mm-hmm. So it's similar to that, but it's a slanted and a flat trampoline put together. Okay. So you hit the slant, you do a skill, and then you hit the flat part, and then you do a skill off to your dismount zone.
Okay.
So I went for the dismount skill, and I landed in between the mat and the double mini.
Oh.
So my feet were in between like the concrete that the double mini was standing on, and then the hard mat that was behind me, because I was preparing for a championship, and I fell back on them. And it just pulled a couple muscles in my ankle. So that was that was one of the worst injuries that I've had. And honestly, it wasn't that bad, because I wore ankle braces, and I iced, and I went and competed at Canadian championships the weekend after. Like, I was in pain, but I could still walk, I could still train, so I was good to go.
How old are you when that happened, if you don't mind me asking?
15, actually.
15. Okay.
It was when I got my lenses. Yeah.
Looking back, is that something you regret, that like going to the championships that week after?
No, I have no problems afterwards with my ankles at all.
Fair enough.
Because I did the proper rehabbing after the event.
Okay.
So I went and competed the event. I did what I was supposed to do. I landed as softly as I possibly could on all of them. I ended up winning that event. And I was able to just like go home, do proper rehab. My dad's a physiotherapist, so that makes my life really easy. But I was able to do the right rehab. I was icing constantly. Even at the event, I had my feet elevated on my my bed in the dorms that we were staying in, iced to make sure that like they didn't swell or anything. So no, there's no regret there. And then my next worst injury, I have a video of it somewhere. I was working on a new thing on top of the double mini, and I got lost in the air. This is when I was like 17, so my contacts were the ones that I have now. So I went up, I did the skill, or I started the skill, I opened, and I was like, if I continue this skill right now, as I was looking, I was like, if I continue the skill right now, I'm going onto my face. So I turned, trying to turn to my back, but I didn't stop my twist after. So I did an additional like 1.5 turns, which rotated me more. And I ended up on my neck and my shoulders with my feet over my head. And I tore 2 muscles in my back. And walking was not fun after that one. I luckily didn't have to compete after that one. I got time to recover. I think I took like 2 weeks off, and like when I got back, jumping was like I was having pain in the lower part of my back when I was jumping, but I eventually just built up the strength again, and I've been good ever since.
Damn. So you'd say the ankle sprain was worse than the tearing of the back muscles? I feel like I'd hear tearing of the back muscles. I'd be like, no, that's definitely number one.
No, I went in chronological order. That was 15 to
Oh,
17.
okay. Chronological. Okay. So would you say the back tear was the worst injury?
The back one actually made me take time off, where the
Mhm.
ankle one, I was good to go the next day.
Wow.
Like
Okay, fair
I
enough.
taped up, ankle braced, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to train.
Respect. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, damn. I remember a couple summers ago I sprained my one ankle, and I'm like, you know what? I'm good. Take a week off. I'm just gonna stay at home. Just chill. So the fact that you just sprained both, you're just like, oh, I'm good. I'm like, Jesus Christ, trying to process that. Like, holy shit.
I
Wow.
mean, I wasn't like I didn't let my eye get in the way of me there. I'm not gonna let my ankles get in the way of me now.
Yeah, man. Respect. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the question. Like, that I kind of wanted to ask you. You kind of just steered me in that direction. So, like, obviously, you're going through all this treatment through your teenage years, and that's also when you're doing gymnastics. Did your like diagnosis kind of affect gymnastics? Did it affect your mentality? Did it really change anything? Like, how did it impact your life specifically?
So at first it really did. When I was 11 years old, first hearing this news, I didn't think it affected me nearly as bad as it did. Um, Obviously, I still didn't want the glasses when I was 11. When I was 9, from when I was to when I was 11, I did not want glasses. I was like, that was the worst thing. I don't know why. I don't get it. Anyway, um, so yeah, I didn't think it affected me as bad as it did until like a week or two later. I was working on a new skill, and like the way I landed, the trampoline rebounded and hit my foot off the trampoline and hit my knee into my left eye.
Oh
And
shit!
that's when I was like, for the first time, like super worried about it, because it was like I'm supposed to like protect my eyes. I'm supposed to be able to see, like, they can't get better, because my idea at the time was they can get better. Um, they won't get better if I hit myself like that. So that after that skill terrified me for 2 years, and I did not touch that skill for 2 years.
Damn.
And then when I was 14, I finally got over it and got the confidence to do the skill again. And now I, to this day, compete that skill.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you first overcame that skill, and when you first did it all those years later, what did it feel like?
So my coach calls it the floodgates. When I get over mental blocks, or I find a way around like these adversities that I go through, um, everything at that exact moment clicks for me, and I just like I everything flows. So um, from there, uh, I went from being afraid to do this skill, which is just a front flip with a half turn off my back. For the trampolinists in the audience, it's a brandy ball out that I was terrified of. Uh, a lot of people make fun of me for that skill, specifically being afraid of it, but I don't. Whatever. Um, so uh, from there, I went from not being able to do that skill to learning how to do double front flip with a half turn, double back flip, double front flip with a half turn in the piked position, and double back flip in the piked position, all within about 2 months of each other. Like I got over this mental block and learned how to do double flips within 2 months.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So that was probably like that's the floodgates that my coach is talking about. I'll get stuck on a skill for a little bit. I'll plateau. I'll get stuck there. I'll get really good at the ones that I can already do, and then the moment I get over that mental block, I just learn everything that I need to after that, and then I'll plateau again, get stuck at this point, and then it'll happen all over again. Luckily, the mental blocks have been shorter and less frequent when they do happen. Not 2 years. It'll be like maybe a month I'll be struggling with this thing, and then I'll learn it, and then I'll be able to learn 8 more things after that easily, and then I'll get
Mhm.
stuck on something, and then I just keep that process going. So hindsight, as much as that it sucked to get stuck on that skill, it was a good thing for me because it gave me all of my confidence back all at once. Where I had very little, it gave everything back.
Bro, that's awesome. I love to hear that. I mean, one thing I was kind of curious about, and the reason why I asked this question is because, I mean, looking through your bio, looking through your Instagram and your YouTube, you're representing Canada.
Yes.
And I think that's really awesome. Shout out. There you go. Um, first question, did you ever think that was a possibility?
So 2008, there's the Beijing Olympics, which they're happening again like this week or something. Like they're starting again for the Winter Olympics this time. But Beijing 2008 was the Summer Olympics, and it was only the third time that trampoline was in the Olympics. And I got to watch Jason Burnett, who, if anybody in the trampoline world is here watching this, Jason Burnett is one of the most well-known names in the sport. He won a silver medal for the first time there, and that was the moment where I decided I want to be on Team Canada. That was my okay. I want to do that now.
Respect.
Yeah. Jason Burnett, for a little bit of context for you and some of the audience that doesn't know who he is, he is obviously the Olympic silver medalist. He is the world difficulty record holder for the hardest routine ever completed in a training. He's the former world record holder for the hardest routine ever done in competition. He was one of the first people to successfully compete a quadruple flip in a world competition.
Wow.
Yeah, he popularized the Miller Plus, which is a quadruple twisting double back straight. So you keep your body completely straight and you twist 4 times in 2 flips. He popularized that skill because that skill, like, people were like, oh, that's just a skill that you do in training. That's just a dream skill for most people. And he did it skill number 2 in his routine out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really familiar with this character, but the things that you just listed off sound incredibly impressive. Yeah. So definitely after this podcast, I have to look into him. Jason Burnett, you said?
Yeah.
Is he Canadian?
He is Canadian. Yeah. He's widely considered the greatest to ever do the sport.
Wow. So was he a big inspiration for you then?
100%. He's the reason that I wanted to get to Team Canada. He's the reason that I wanted to get to the spot that I'm in today. I'm here because Jason was able to inspire me to do that just by his performance alone. His motto his and his coach's motto has always been go big or go home. And especially at this world competition that I just went to, I took that motto to heart and I did everything that I could to do the biggest that I could to be able to go big or, not show up at all.
That's awesome, man. I love to hear that. Did you, so this is 2008 Olympics, you said, is when you watched this and you decided that. So obviously that was a long time ago, and obviously a lot of things have happened since then. Of course,
yeah.
So did your objectives ever switch once you had your diagnosis, or was it always like Team Canada, I'm doing it?
No, my goals have never switched. They have been. You can ask my coach. He actually put it on his Facebook when I made it to Team Canada finally. Yeah, the goal has never changed. The path has changed a few times on how to get there, but the goal never wavered. I've always been Team Canada. I want to be on Team Canada. I want to compete at these competitions. I want to go to the World Championships. I want to be the world champion. That has always been a thing.
That's so cool, bro. I mean, obviously, I think to like an everyday person like myself, if something that's considered traumatizing happens in someone's life, they're gonna have to go back to the drawing board and like, what's realistic? What can I do? What else can I do? But the fact that you're like, nah, fuck that. I'm still doing this. I'm still gonna be, my very best is just like so cool to hear. So I mean, that's awesome, and like congratulations for representing Canada. Like that's
thank you.
That's a huge deal, man. When did that happen? When did you get that announcement?
I got that announcement November. No, that doesn't sound right because I was competing in November. No, it was October. I got the news in October. I kept asking my coach, did we get the email? Because I just competed at 2 of the qualifiers and I got first at the first one and second at the second one. Hilarious how that worked. Anyway, and I was like, these scores are really good. Like, I'm top of the pack this year. Like, did I make it to Team Canada? And he's like, yeah, I haven't gotten an email yet. I have no idea. I wake up one morning and I'm just on my phone doing my usual morning Instagram scroll or going onto Twitter or whatever it was. And I get an Outlook notification, and it was from Nikki, who is like the head of our team at for the world age groups.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an email from her, and I was like, oh, it's probably about like another form that Dan and I missed or something. And I opened it, and the first line of it was, congratulations on making it to the world age group team.
Damn.
So I got the email. My coach didn't even know. I had to tell him. He didn't get the chance to tell me.
Damn, dude. That's cool. I mean, yeah, like congratulations. That's quite the way to find out.
Yeah,
But I mean, yeah, dude, that's awesome. Congratulations. When will you? Right, as I don't fully follow the Olympics, but
of course.
you know what? For the sake of you, I kind of want to. Like, when will you compete, and when will you represent Canada?
So I've already competed. November, I competed at in Azerbaijan for the World Championships. One of the most insane experiences that I've ever had in my life. Stepping foot onto one of the biggest stages in my sport was definitely one of those life moments. It's something that I'm always going to be able to look back on and be like, I did that. I got to step on that stage right there in front of the entire world.
Fucking awesome. I mean, okay, I'm gonna ask this question because I've had like athletes in the past who, like, you know, they've accomplished quite a few things, and when they finally made it to that peak, that stage, everything's a blur. They don't remember it. Do you think that's kind of the same, or do you remember that memory? Like, is it ingrained in your brain?
So no, I have been conditioned very well to take in and absorb everything. Rosie McLennan, another amazing Canadian trampoline gymnast. She is the 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and the first person to ever do that in our sport, and the first woman to ever do that in Canadian Olympic history. She, in the 2016 Nationals, walked up to me when I had won Canadian National Championships, and she said, take every bit of this moment in, because for so many of us, it becomes a blur. Your first time winning a national title. Focus on every step, on every breath, and really absorb the entire moment. And I can, to this day, from 2016 to now, remember everything, every step that I took walking up to that podium for the first time to like be awarded my national title. So I took that with me into my world championships, and I remember every step, every breath, everything from my first time competing as a Team Canada athlete.
Wow, that you really captured me there. I was like, I was into that. I'm like, wow, you're preaching there for a second. Damn. Yeah. I mean, so that's cool that like she kind of taught you that. Is that something you're gonna apply for the rest of your life, to the rest of your career?
Yes, absolutely. There's a podcast that I listen to quite often, Impulsive. It's the Logan Paul podcast, of course. It's one of the most popular ones. But in one of the podcasts, he said, I like to, instead of looking back and be like, oh, those were the days, I like to take notes of life moments. So I mentioned a life moment earlier, which was being able to step out onto that stage. So that was one of those times where it's like, okay, I'm checking that box. That's a life moment right there. I want to absorb every moment of this. So I have learned to really take that in and apply that everywhere. I highly suggest everybody does that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you're listening, I might start doing that. I mean, it's been, I think this past year, like 2021 especially, for me and probably for a lot of people, had a mix of ups and downs. Obviously, because like, you know, lockdown's what feels like every other month. You know, shit's always happening. But I think you got to make the best out of those situations, and I feel like I did, because throughout for 2021, a life moment that I can check off is I made this podcast and I met some fucking amazing people, you included, by the way. I think this podcast has been going great. You know, I bet a lot of cool people. Have had a lot of cool conversations. I think it's helped me become a better broadcaster, which at the end of the day is what I want to do. So I feel like, you know, although 2021 had a lot of negatives, and I'm highlighting 2021 specifically, but although 2021 had a lot of negatives, I think you really have to do your best to find a way to like make something positive and highlight that.
Yeah, exactly. I want everybody who's listening to this, and I want us to as well, to really take in these moments that are happening. From what I've seen and what I've watched from your podcast alone, you've had some incredible guests on, and each one of those individually could be considered a life moment. That's a lot to remember, though.
Yeah.
But the highlights of what they have to say and what they're talking about, those are the moments that you have to remember. It could be as simple as we're sitting out by a fire pit. We're drinking some beers or some coolers, whatever you like. I don't personally drink. I'm just throwing this out there. But you're sitting back at the campfire with all your friends. That could be considered a life moment right there.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like the thing is, though, and I feel like what kind of discourages people from doing that is people always try to shit on it. Like, oh yeah, I have my podcast, it doesn't have the biggest following, but it's like, still, I think I still did a lot of cool things. And maybe even in your case, if you won national championships, there's gonna be that one guy. There's bound to be that one guy who's like, oh, that's nothing. But it's like,
only in Canada, it's not the world. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I get it. But you gotta start. There's a baseline. You gotta start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You're always gonna remember those 36 views that you had on your first or second podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that you're going to remember. There's a Travis Scott moment where he's standing on top of a bus doing one of his songs in front of like 10 people, 11 people. And he got to interact with each one of those people who are genuinely interested in what he was doing. He doesn't have that opportunity anymore. He's got thousands, millions of people who listen to his stuff. He can't do that anymore. But those are the moments that he's going to remember, is him standing on top of that bus in front of those 11 people.
Yeah.
You can get all the accolades in the world. It's where you start. It's the journey that gets you to that point that matters. There
you go. That is the clip for the Instagram right there. Some inspirational shit. I love it. Okay, segueing into our next topic, because you did mention it, and I'm so intrigued into learning about this. So I'm not sure what the collaboration is, what it is about, but I noticed you are a big fan of the Maverick Clothing line, and I even saw you met Logan Paul, which is so cool. And that's why that's why I kind of tweaked my eyebrow a little bit when you mentioned Impulsive. So could you talk to me about like how that came about? Because I'm like, I saw Logan Paul, I'm like, hold up, wait, what?
Yeah, so 2021, though it had a lot of downs, as you said, it also had like some of the most incredible experiences for me, being world championships, being like getting to create an incredible video, and of course like meeting Logan, right? Like that was an incredible experience. I know he to this day is still not considered one of the most liked people, but I genuinely urge you to listen to his podcast. It is like, it changes your entire worldview on this guy. He's awesome. But I was a part of this thing called the Maverick Club. I don't know why. But for whatever reason, it doesn't let me like renew my membership to the Maverick Club right now. So I got to figure out what that's about. But anyway, not important. So, one of the perks of the Maverick Club is getting to meet, to do a little Zoom call with Logan Paul. So I got the opportunity to talk to him through that. But the whole Maverick Clothing line thing was because I, for whatever reason, feel this deep-rooted connection with the Maverick brand. When he re-released his stuff, May 2020, I had this like watching the commercial, something struck a chord with me, and that and then Charlie Rocket really helped me push towards this goal of mine, which is to be sponsored by Maverick Clothing. So I went and got professional pictures taken with the Maverick Clothing line. Maverick's manager and CEO have seen, liked, and commented on my posts. Their marketing manager has seen, commented, liked on my posts. Their brand account has seen, liked, and commented on my posts. And Logan himself has now spoken to me, of course, and I talked to him about the Maverick line and how much it meant to me and how much like it, I don't know, it's something is different about it, where it's not like a Nike, it's not like an Adidas, where like they're sponsoring athletes all the time. This is still a young, new company that still has a lot of potential. And I feel like it is a lot easier to reach one person than it is to reach an entire corporation worth billions of dollars. So I don't know. I just feel this really deep-rooted connection with the Maverick brand.
Could you like go in depth a bit and talk about like what specifically attracts you to Maverick and why you have this deep-rooted connection? Could you explain that a little bit?
Do you know anything about quantum physics? I'm gonna say probably not.
What a question. I'm gonna say no.
Okay. So
please explain.
So I'm ripping this from Charlie Rocket here. So this is gonna be tough to explain in the best way. These scientists at one point had a wall with 2 holes in it. And what they did was they threw a rock at the wall, and somehow the rock went through both of the holes. Okay. Einstein himself was confused by this. So he couldn't figure out how the rock went through both of the holes at the same time. Until you think of the rock as a vibration.
Okay.
Because vibrations can go through 2 holes at the same time, right? Easily. Light, if you hit a light right in the middle, it can split into these 2 holes. Right? So that's the like. So hello, Nat. My sister's walking in the background. So where I'm trying to go with this is basically like everything in this world is made up of vibrations. Everything vibrates, right? And every vibration is able to meet each other. If you drop a rock in a pond and you drop another rock in a pond, both of those waves are going to meet up at some point.
Okay.
You're made out of vibrations. I'm made out of vibrations. We both hit the pond, and we have now our waves have now hit, so we could have this opportunity to speak to each other.
Okay.
So the Maverick Clothing entity is a vibration, and I am a vibration. We dropped our rocks into the pond, and for whatever reason, I feel the vibration is meeting my way to the Maverick Clothing brand.
Okay, gotcha. Now the analogy makes sense. I'm like, the way you're breaking it down, I feel like a student in class. I'm like, okay.
You gotta
vibrations. Okay, how about Einstein was confused? Okay. I'm like,
pop out the notepad. We got this.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, when's the quiz?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay, okay.
I may have not done the best job, Charlie Rocket. I'm sorry, but I tried to break down what he said in the best way possible, because that is genuinely how I feel. I feel like for whatever reason, I have this deep connection with this brand, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but from May to now, I still feel that there is an opportunity for me, the blind gymnast, to work with Maverick Clothing.
Yeah, it makes sense. That I like that breakdown, that explanation, that analogy, because that's actually something I feel like I can relate to, in which like I really love just meeting new people and talking to people and hearing their stories. Kind of like how I'm able to meet you and just the people I've met. And I think I finally have a way of explaining it. Like there's just something I love about meeting new people, and I guess about vibrating together. I just want to vibrate. There you go.
So that's where that's where the popular term vibing with somebody comes from. It's the vibrations of the two people.
Fuck up. There you go.
when you're vibing with something, typically they talk about vibing with music, and it's because music is sound vibrating to your ears, which makes your eardrums vibrate.
Wow, you really just broke me down. I'm just trying to vibe with people. There you go.
You're trying to vibe. You're trying to vibe.
That's 2022 vibe.
Love it. Exactly.
Love that. So where are you now with Maverick? Are you like sponsored by them? Is that in the works?
So I chose the worst possible time to do everything that I did to work my way to get this Maverick deal to happen. I released a video called Becoming a Maverick, the Blind Acrobat. Great title, very clickable. I'm talking to YouTuber now because I do YouTube stuff as well. Mm-hmm. So I drop all this,
which I do want to talk about. We'll get in that in a minute.
Yeah, of course. So I yeah, I started making this video around June. So not June, in around like May, we started recording it. We finished it in June. We got all the editing done. This is right before Logan fought Floyd Mayweather.
Okay.
Okay. So I wanted to release it the day before he fought Floyd because his hype was at an all-time high at that point. So having his name or his brand a part of anything at that point would have been huge.
Smart.
We missed the mark a little bit. I think we were like a couple days late. But his name was still buzzing because he's the only person, because there's no judges and there was no like knockout. He's the only person who did not lose to Floyd Mayweather.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. So his name was like, there's a lot of like buzz around his name still. So I dropped the video. The day I dropped my video, the Maverick Clothing brand went on a blackout.
Well, that's so tough.
The minute, because like I'm in their primary DMs for Instagram, and I know that because they used to see every single one of my messages, right? So I posted them on my story the one day, and nothing came out of it. Like normally, at least I get a scene or I get a like or something. Nothing. I do it again like a couple weeks later, nothing. And I realized they haven't been posting anything on their stories recently. They haven't been posting anything on their feed. Like the last time they posted on their feed was before June.
Oh, damn.
So I realized that they went on a blackout.
Oh, that is tough.
They have posted something. They did post something recently and then immediately took it down.
Oh, man.
Which was Maverick Athletics, March 2022.
Interesting.
So I don't know what that's about. I'm going to try and jump on that train if I can. But the moment that I posted this video that I'm super proud of still, if you guys haven't seen it, please do watch it. The moment I posted that video was when they decided to go into a blackout, which is, I don't know if that's a sign. I hope not. But yeah, I don't know. It was weird timing.
Yeah, that really does. I mean, although that's still cool that you made that video, and I'm sure that's something you're still proud of. Damn, man, the timing is kind of tough on that one.
The timing sucked.
Yeah, fair enough. So we'll just say it's in the works for now.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. So actually, now I kind of want to have this conversation.
Okay.
Your YouTube channel.
Yes.
So I did a little bit of research there. Congratulations on getting 1,000 subscribers.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When did you decide to start doing that?
So I've always had this dream of being like a creator, an entertainer, that kind of thing. I never knew what to make it about. Because Minecraft was super popular and I loved Minecraft and I still do to this day. But I felt it was oversaturated because of, at the time, Sky Does Minecraft, Deadlocked, Asian Canadian, like those big names that everybody as a kid knew. So I was like, I'm not going to get picked up by these guys. I'm not going to get the popularity that I should. So I don't know what to do. So I kind of put that on the back burner for a little bit. And then there was a resurgence of Minecraft and so many more people came back. So I was like, okay, maybe I can make this happen. So I started, instead of creating content, I started streaming because when I have time, I want to spend my time with my friends or just playing games. So how hard is it to press the go live button? The issue with not having time is I can't edit. So hit go live, chat with people, hang out, get to play some games, make some fun content out of it, get new people in, get some new subscribers. It works very easily. And I still love doing that, and I'm going to continue to do that. But I finally realized that, hey, being a blind gymnast and one of the first blind gymnasts is not a bad clicking point. I love gymnastics. I love making gymnastics content. I'm already at the gym. I just have to hit the record button and then take one of those days that I was streaming or playing games and then just rotate that into editing this video and then release it. Then I've made content. I've done something I enjoy and I'm not wasting any of my time.
And I mean, to be fair, you've had some success. I noticed. I think some videos have gotten thousands of views. That's pretty cool.
I have had a couple videos go like, I'm not going to say viral, but like semi-viral, like 40,000 views. I think one of them sitting at right now. Another one's at like 31,000 ish.
No, man, I think you can say that's viral. There's no point in trying to compare yourself to like these people who've just gotten scary numbers. Like
No,
to me, I got like I remember one podcast, I got 2,000 views, and that to me was like, whoa. So the fact that
bro, that's a lot still. Like, I'm not saying these views aren't like a lot, but the only reason I'm saying semi-viral is because the typical viral definition is 100,000 views.
okay, fair enough.
So that's why I'm like kind of semi-viral, but like at the same time, people are still liking and commenting on those videos to this day. Like they may actually hit 100,000 views. Not yet, but they may have eventually.
Very well could be.
Yeah. And they're just me doing like the new skills that I'm learning. Like I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not putting myself through a challenge. I'm just releasing content of stuff that I'm doing anyway. So why not make more of it and maybe make it a little bit more long form? Because I'm just doing like short little clips.
I mean, dude, you should that's something you should still be proud of, though. I mean, like, even though it's not the definition, I mean, 30 to 40,000 people like thinking about that, like I can't even envision. That's like a full stadium watching like a hockey game or some shit. Like that's
I know
insane.
I know when so my friend Codes, he is a musical artist, and he is also like one of the highest ranked Valorant players in the world, or in NA right now, not the world, in NA right now. When I told him like, bro, one of my videos got 30,000 views, like it went kind of crazy. He said, that's not a way that you should describe a video with 30,000 views. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think he's right, dude. That's quite the feat.
He said one of my songs got 1,000 listens and I was panicking. And you're like, yeah, 30,000 views is kind of good, I guess.
I mean, hey, at least you have high ambitions. That's kind of cool.
I'm heading the clouds, man. I my dreams are so much bigger than what like people are seeing on the surface.
That's awesome, man. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, looking at your content through your YouTube channel, it's mainly gaming, and then it's those your trampolining stuff.
Yes.
So, question here is like, how do you want to shape your content for the future? Is that kind of like the niche that you're going for? Do you want to do more stuff?
I want to do more for sure, but what I'm currently looking to do is do a mix of content like Original 151, otherwise known as Vinny. He's one of my favorite creators. He's the most like chill, down to earth guy. He streams every single day while also releasing content at least once a day. So I want to be able to stream as often as he does, even if it's a 30-minute, I'm on my phone, I'm just talking to chat. Like I would love to do that. But I also want to go in a route of like a Niall Wilson, who is a men's gymnast, who does gymnastics-based content. He's got like 2 million subscribers or something like that. He's doing really well for himself. So I want to do a little mix of that where I can get intimate with my audience and be able to talk to them and just sit down and like stream and just be like, hey, how's it going? And not have this persona of like, I'm the biggest creator on earth.
Right.
I like that down to earth. I like that chat, like talking to chat. I love like one of my favorite things. I'll pop into my Discord right now and I'll jump into like conversations with people. They, for whatever reason, they created an entire thread on my Discord of just saying my name.
There you go.
And it's because I do it to other people's streams just to say I'm there. I'll just type my name, just to be like, yeah, I'm here, but like I'm doing something else right now. So they just created this giant thread with like over 2,000 messages in it of just my name.
Wow. Do you also think that's kind of crazy?
I think it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things to look at is just to go here and just like scroll through all of the messages of just people saying my name over and over again.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I just wanted to say, like, I want to keep this relationship that I have with my audience, no matter how big I get. But I want to start creating more gymnastics content, whether I'm streaming or not.
Do you ever think you'll like, looking into the future here, obviously it's just like a hypothetical, do you ever think that you'll ever have that same realization as Travis Scott, like you said earlier, with the 11 people on the bus and how he interacted with people. But he got so big, it got to a point where you can't because there's just so many people. Are you scared that your audience will get to a point where it's like there's no way you can interact with all these people?
No, yes and no. Because if I get to a point where Travis Scott is at, I'm going to have a way to be able to interact with as many people as I can.
Fair enough.
So on YouTube, you have the channel members who get like exclusive content, or they get Discord calls with you, or they get to make a video with you, like whatever your perks are that you make for your channel memberships. So right now, what the first thing of the channel members are is you get access to the Discord. Up until I hit 1,000, I let anybody join, which was started to become a problem when people just like showed up for one stream, got into the Discord, and then never spoke in the Discord, came to the chat again. So I made it so that you have to be a channel member to be a part of it, because that's how I know for sure that you are there for like my content, not just because I'm playing on Hypixel and we're doing Bed Wars and you want to play Bed Wars with people.
Yeah, I get that.
No.
Fair enough. Well, that kind of takes me to my my last question here, as we've had quite the conversation, talked about quite a few things. What are your goals? Immediate, long term? Tell me.
Okay, so right now it's to keep my spot on Team Canada, because every year I'm gonna have to compete to keep that spot. So that doesn't change this year. I've got the spot in 2021, but I don't have it for 2022. So I'm gonna make sure that I have it for 2022. I want to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year.
Okay, wow, ambitious. I like it.
Yeah. It's a lot, but I think it's possible with what the channel has been seeing recently. And then the Maverick Clothing deal, I'm hoping that can be a thing this year. I've been manifesting it forever, writing it down on paper, putting it in my phone. I had it as my lock screen for a little bit, like that I'm the first Maverick Clothing athlete. So I still want that to be the thing. And then I want to try out some new content. I want to try out making some more long form gymnastics content. Maybe, I don't know, try making some music with my friend Codes, who makes music. Like maybe I'll try and do that just for fun. I'll try out some different games. I'll try out some different like challenges. And then this last one, we're gonna keep it hush hush because I don't want my dad's in the next room. I don't want him to hear this. I want to try to send my entire family for Christmas to Italy.
Wow,
yeah.
That is the sweetest thing I've ever heard in my life. Wow, I really hope you achieve that, because that's so wholesome. Wow, I hope you accomplish that.
I do too. I've been in the works with that one since like right before our good friend decided to grace our presence with this disease. I've wanted this to be a thing, but obviously it had to take a back seat because of how bad it was, especially in Italy, early 2020. So I'm hoping that can be a thing sooner rather than later.
All right, man. I think that's a good way to end it. I hope so too. That has been another episode of Beyond the Naked Eye. Mike, again, man, we had a great conversation. I loved it. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, of course. No worries.
That has been another episode. I'm Brian Correa. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.